water availability and water quality, how important is that from a nutrition standpoint, making sure that they have enough?
Well, you don't get milk and you don't get feed if you don't have water.
Yeah.
And simply having water isn't the name of the game. I mean, you've got to have clean, good quality water, not cold water. I mean, it has to be, you know, at ambient temperature at least. There's research that's been shown that if you try and get real cold, cows don't drink real cold water. They don't like real cold water. Plus, the other thing that happens too is that if they drink real cold water, it upsets the rumen environment, which the bacteria don't like. So therefore, it doesn't do any benefit as far as digestibility. But the critical thing right now is just to have clean water as much as possible. So most dairies will go in and they'll clean their water troughs at least once a week and make sure that they're scrubbed out, get rid of all the old feed, just because it works in two ways. One, it encourages feed intake, but also as water heats, it'll encourage bacterial growth. So if you keep the feed out, you'll diminish the opportunity for bacterial growth, and therefore the water quality is naturally better.
And especially during the summer, it's important, right, to have enough water that they're trying to dissipate heat and hydrate, make sure that every water trough has water and it's not broken, checking that as well, right?
Yes, very much so. I mean, it goes hand in hand in the summer. Of course, right now, we will have temperatures that get up to 100 or better, and the humidity will stay up at 40 and 50%. So you've got to have that water available, and then you also have to have cooling systems in place also that will encourage cow comfort.
We talk a little bit about DCAD in pre-fresh cows. Have you ever had a dairy that has very high sulfates, and you need to send the water for water analysis and then include that in the equation as well? If they have very high sulfates, try to make sure you include that when you balance for the DCAD as well?
Well, I'm fortunate in that I don't run into any high sulfur water.
Okay.
But regardless of whether you have high sulfur water or not, I think you still need to run an analysis on the water in order to find out what the quality is. And yes, you do need to include that in your formulations in order to account for some of the mineral contribution. I don't necessarily look at it from the standpoint if I have a high calcium water that I'm going to reduce calcium in my ration, in my supplement packages. I mainly look at it just from the standpoint more of chloride. Chloride's a big problem in certain areas, and I have, when I used to work out in Arizona, there were some chloride levels out there. I had some chloride levels here in North Texas, to the extent that we have to put in an RO system, a reverse osmosis system, in order to clean that water up. It proved to me the point that with better water quality, you can get more intakes, you can get more milk, because in those herds that put in RO units, I would say without hesitation that milk went up anywhere from 6 to 10 pounds simply due to and nothing else changed except for the quality of the water.
Let me ask you a question, perhaps more about management, but do you think, especially the pre-fresh pen and the fresh pen, that perhaps they have to be kept at a specific stocking density, that's to make sure that each cow has space at the feed bank? Do you have a specific target for those? I know sometimes it varies and you may have some more calvings, so there's variation, but if you could pick a target, do you have a specific target?
80%.
80%?
80%, but there are times when we'll get up, we don't purposely do it, it's just a cow flow, and maybe sometimes we don't move cows out fast enough, but typically around 80 to 90% is what we'll find our stocking density at. Now again, that goes back to are you looking at stocking density based upon your headlocks, or are you basing it on freestall beds, or if you're in an open lot? I typically just look at the number of headlocks and try to make sure that we're at no more than a 90%, preferably 80.